Episode 8, Into the Storm. The Hinterlight plunges into Firetide. Solar plasma lashes out like oceans of white fire. Lightning forks crawl across her hull, shaking the ship like a beast in pain. On the bridge, Hallstrom bleeding at the helm, Madsen barking orders, Sko looming, a Hainobarb watching in silence. Behind, a second ship ghosts through the storm. The October country. Thekla's voice oozes from the Vox. Put fever on. 15 minutes and we're done. Below decks, the operation begins to fray. Status feeds stutter. Compartments go silent. Reports arrive out of order. Incomplete. Sko's jaw tightens. This was meant to be clean. Down in the ship's lower service ways near the heat sinks, the air runs red and dry. The walls are tiled like raw meat. Kais and Zale creep forward. A drone spots them, a hunter hard on its back. Last shots spit. Kais dives, drags Zale down, then tears the drone from the air with her mind and smashes it into its master's skull. Bones crack. Silence. Elsewhere, Matuin drags Priest through machine shops of dust and sparks. They take cover behind towering batteries. Gunfire rips benches apart, lockers explode, tools clatter like hail. Matuin rolls a power pod on greased casters, dragging it as mobile cover while autocannon fire hammers metal around them. Battery cells topple with thunder. They crawl, choking, edging toward the Engineerium's vault. Cargo holds. A steady, metallic hammering echoes down the empty halls. Kara and Nail exchange a look. Weapons raised, they move closer. Inside, Dubo. Shirt soaked with sweat, axe splintered from overuse, teeth bared. He hammers Ravenor's chair again and again, denting the armored shell. A hole splits open. He whispers into it. "Gonna drag you out, bastard. Mash you up." Kara bursts in. Dubo lunges, axe flashing. She loses both pistols in the opening clash, arms bruised, rolling across metal to stay alive. The axe gouges, sparks from the deck, misses her by inches. She grabs a black unit with a blinking red light which is attached to Ravenor's chair and hurls it with force. Dubo chops it out of the air, then raises the axe for the killing stroke. A voice speaks inside Kara's head. Steady, undeniable. It's Ravenor. Get out of the way. The hold erupts with frost. Dubo is ripped from the floor, slammed against the wall, bones cracking like twigs. His scream cuts short as his body collapses into pulp. Zale, elsewhere, gasps. It's worse than Kinski. Someone just had a really bad chair day. In the shadow of the vast drive chambers, Priest claws at a hidden console buried in steel. She slides back brass hoods, fingers hammering keys. Fans groan awake. Auxiliary lights flicker on overhead. For the first time in hours, the air scrubbers hum, pushing cold, recycled breath into the ship. Across the Hinterlight, systems begin to answer. Badly. Panels sputter. Hololiths flare and die. The helm goes dark. The real space drives fall silent. Sirens rise in the red-lit haze. Hallstrom hunches over the command throne, fingers twitching across the keys. His face is rigid, teeth gritted, words spilling out in a voice that doesn't sound like his own. "We're locked out. Bridge stations are dead. The helm's down. Engines have just shut. We're drifting. I can't get her back." Madsen whirls on him. "Kinski?" Hallstrom's body shudders violently. Blood threads from his nose. His head lolls, eyes rolling back. He slumps, gasping shallowly. Kinski's true body spasms in the helm station seat beside him, jaw loose, twitching like a dreaming animal. Madsen leans close, voice razor-sharp. "Priest, she's brought some hidden stack online. She's jamming me. Find her, get into her skull, force her to shut it down, then kill her." And at that order, Kinski erupts out of himself like an ice storm, surging down corridors, flooding bulkheads. Frost creeps across decks and consoles as he spreads, trailing hoar frost in his wake. Every human spark burns in his awareness, faint embers on the bridge, scattered hunters in the holds, and 2 bright flames at the stern. Priest Mathuin. He dives for them and slams into something waiting for him. Ravenor. His mind form rears up from the dark like a predator from the deep. A long, glittering, snake-like body with a saw-toothed jaw, eyes burning topaz. Kinski answers with violence. His essence snaps into the shape of a mantis, limbs like scythes, claws cocked to cut. They hit. Psychic force detonates through the engineerium. Gantries tremble, red tiles split, sparks geyser into the air. The smell of ozone floods the vault. Kinski lunges, his claw arm hardening into a spear of thought. He drives it through Ravenor's flank. Psychic ichor spatters, sizzling like molten glass. Ravenor surges back, scales turning into an avalanche of jagged light. The wave crashes over Kinski, snapping the spear, grinding the mantis form to pieces. But Kinski is never still. He becomes a squid thing, 20 mind tentacles whipping. They lash around Ravenor, constricting, pulling. Ravenor plates his body in psychic armor, then splits it apart, closing the shields like jaws on the tentacles. They snap, bursting black clouds of rage and pain. The ship screams with them. Metal warps, deck plates shear open, ice tracks across the floor, then vanish in steam. Priest flinches at the console, her fingers rimed in frost. Kinski rallies, coiling into a spiked ball, firing volleys of thought blades. Ravenor rolls, a cyclone of raw pressure, sweeping the blades aside. The gale rips a catwalk from its moorings. It falls 9 meters, showering sparks and smoke. Lavender, charcoal, stagnant water, blood. Scents crash over Mathuin and Priest as reality buckles around them. Mathuin yells over the chaos. "Ignore it! Override the codes!" Priest hammers at the console, sleeves iced stiff, teeth chattering. Above them, hunters close in with rifles, their outlines blurred by psychic distortion. And still, the 2 psychers collide. Predator against mantis, avalanche against tentacle swarm, neither yielding, both tearing the ship apart with every thought blow. On the bridge of the Hinterlight, Madsen watches helplessly as systems die. Her codes countermanded by Priest's hidden failsafe. No one has control. The Hinterlight drifts. Vox screens flare. Thekla's voice, venomous and bored, crackles through the Vox. "Firing on you, of course. I'm tired of waiting, Fever. And I'm worried that Inquisitor bastard of yours has got loose. Can't have that. If you won't be a sport and dive the Hinterlight into the star like we agreed, then I'll see to it myself. Nothing personal." Then the first impacts slam home. The ship bucks sideways. Somewhere deep in the hull, metal screams like an animal. Starboard hangar voided. Hull plating torn back like foil. Fires rage in the real space chambers, alarms wailing. Compartments auto-seal with thunderclaps of steel. Crew are dragged into vacuum mid-scream. Another salvo. Red hazard runes flood the displays. The Hinterlight lurches again, groaning as though the storm itself is chewing it apart. Sko grits his teeth. He's had enough of Madsen's smirk, her countermand, her failed genius. He draws his longlass in one smooth motion, levels it. Not at her head, but close enough. The threat is clear. You've ballsed it up enough, mamsel. My men say they've cornered Priest in the stern. You're going down there. Sort it, or we all burn. A henobarb moves to her side, silent and hulking. Madsen swallows her pride, draws her snub pistol and storms for the hatch. The ship convulses. Firestorms spread through the drive chambers. Priest and Mathewin are pinned behind the console, shots raining from gantries above and hunters below. Meanwhile, Kais and Zale choke in the smoke, retreating across a gantry. A henobarb crashes from the haze, fist like an anvil. Kis's pistol clatters away. She stabs him low, then up under the nose. His scream echoes as he topples into the inferno. Behind, Madsen appears. Gun raised, sneer fixed. A bullet rips Kais's shoulder. She staggers, bleeding. Kis staggers back, shoulder bleeding, no weapon left. At her throat, the tiny fish-scale charms stir. They lift and spin free, drawn up by invisible force, shaped, sharpened, and hurled by her will alone. The scales whirl into a glittering storm, a telekinetic blade. With a thought, she lashes them across Madsen's windpipe. She gasps breathlessly, weapon firing wild as she tumbles backwards off the gantry to join a henobarb in the flames. The command deck is chaos. Alarms blare. Hazard runes glow crimson across failing displays. Smoke rolls across the consoles. Kinski's body writhes in one helm station, lips flecked with blood. In the immaterium, Ravenor falters. Kinski's jaws close, venomous teeth ready to sever his essence. And then, Froka stirs, pale, bloodied, limiter hissing. He drags himself upright, flicks a lighter. A low stick glows. Smoke drifts from the ragged hole in his chest. "These things'll kill you," he mutters. His hand reaches to the limiter. A click, off. Suddenly Kinski convulses, mind yanked back into his body. Psychic jaws dissolve, power guttering out like a flame smothered. Frauke exhales smoke, grips the psyker's skull. A twist, a crack, neck snapped, Kinski dead. Frauke's fingers find the limiter again. A hiss, on. Blank aura sealed nullified. He collapses back across the console as alarms wail. Ravenor is still free, but now weak, torn and bleeding in mind. The Hinterlight is coming apart. Hull alarms wail. Sparks bleed from ruptured consoles. The deck rolls underfoot as impacts hammer the starboard flank. Nail braces himself against a bulkhead, eyes on the weapons panel. "Everything's shot out," he growls. "We've got one missile battery left, prow mount. The rest are dead." Ravenor's voice fills the bridge speakers, thin, distorted through the damaged vox. "One is enough." Hallstrom's body lies slumped in the helm. His mind is beyond reach, burned out from possession. Ravenor feels it, an empty shell he can no longer steer. His own consciousness flickers, raw and bleeding from the duel. "I can't hold the helm from here," his voice murmurs inside their minds. "Get my chair to the bridge." Kara hears him and obeys. Metal shrieks as servitors drag the scorched throne up through the shattered companionways. Cables trail behind it like entrails. When it locks into place beside the command throne, the bridge lights flare. Ravenor re-anchors. Circuits couple. Power returns to the wraithbone amplifiers built into the frame. He turns his thoughts to Nail, a voice in his mind. "Arm the missile battery. Target the October Country's bridge." Nail hesitates. "Their bridge is shielded. We'll just waste the shot." "Trust me." Ravenor's mind surges outward, leaving the hull behind. He rides the radiation tides of Firetide, a streak of thought across the storm. The October country looms ahead, an antique predator of brass and gold. He slips through its shields, into the ornate bridge. Brass consoles, crew at their stations, Thekla resplendent in blue silk and powdered wig, MIU cables snaking from his skull. At the defense console, a young officer's hands move calmly over the levers. Ravenor dives into his mind, like a knife through silk. The man stiffens, eyes wide, fingers twitching as voiceless commands take hold. Ravenor forces his hands down and switches a flip. Warning runes flare. Shields collapse. Across the bridge, Thekla wheels around, face blanching. "What are you—" Too late. 8 missiles tear through the storm, white contrails carving fire across the void. They strike as one. The October country's bridge blossoms in blinding light, burning white against the Firetide. Back aboard the Hinterlight, the command deck shudders in silence. Ravenor's chair hums low, its red lamps flickering weakly. Cables tremble. The air tastes of ozone and burnt metal. The ship-wide vox crackles with his voice, faint, metallic, but steady. "It's done," he says. "Let's get our people home." The storm fades. The Hinterlight limps through the dying light of Firetide, its hull groaning, fires flickering in sealed decks. In the brig, the air smells of oil and burned ozone. Chains rattle in the dim red light. Feversko hangs there, head bowed, skin grey with exhaustion. Ravenor glides forward, the hum of his chair cutting through the silence. His voice, cold and metallic, fills the cell. Where do the flecks come from? What is Contract 13? Sko hesitates, breath shaking. Then he breaks. The Mergent Worlds, a rogue trader consortium. Thekla, Akunin, Vigold, Maribos, Foucault, Strixon, Braden. Forbidden salvage from warp-burned hives. Flecks littering spica-maximal like glass from shattered windows. Each shard, soaked in the warp. Ravenor presses deeper. Mind screens fall away. He sees it through Sko's eyes. Black ruins under a blood-red sun, towers of solid night, ground glittering with cursed glass. The true source of the trade. In the aftermath, the Hinterlight drifts in silence. The storm outside has passed. Firetide burns low, painting the fractured hull in dying light. On the bridge, wreckage smolders. Panels hang open, cables dripping sparks. The air smells of scorched metal and coolant. Frauke lies half-conscious under a med blanket. Hallstrom's body is broken beyond saving. The others move like ghosts, bruised, bandaged, alive. From the center of the deck, Ravenor's voxed voice carries through the smoke, low and metallic, echoing in the ruined bridge. This stopped being about flecks when they broke Dubo's mind to keep me blind, he says. A pause. They treated a navigator as expendable. Only people who know they're untouchable do that. Nail wipes blood from his brow. So, we go back to Imperial space? Yes, Ravenor answers, but under disguise. They think we're dead. Let's keep it that way. At the viewport, Zale stares at the fading firestorm. Kais joins him, her voice low. He's more than nascent, she says. He reflects what's around him, a mirror. That makes him dangerous. Ravenor's voice rolls through the haze, steady and unreadable. Then he stays with us. A pause, where he can be watched. Outside, Firetide fades to black, and the Hinterlight turns for home. Bonner's reach, rust and neon, smoke thick with exhaust and fried oil, Cargo horns moan across the docks. The Hinterlight, scorched and nameless, limps in under false transponders. A bulk lifter kisses the airlock. 3 hooded figures step out, moving through the crowd like ghosts. Inside a private booth, a tiny man waits among velvet drapes and stale perfume. He bows low. "I am Sholto Unverth," he lisps, "and I requent your fulsome advantages." Nail lowers his hood. The shadows lift just enough to show a tired grin. "Master Unverth, we have a business proposition." The hum of the station rises, and Unverth's smile glitters in the dim light. End of Book 1.